Very delighted to have you, Martin.
Thank you, sir.
And
good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Great. Because it's the first time I think we're being here.
It is the first time of you being here.
Yeah, sure.
You had disappeared in 2023.
Yeah.
I will just need some updates of maybe what happened. You know, people disappear. They go when they are single. They appear when they are two. And sometimes they tell you, you know, it was a closed ceremony. And so...
Yes, you're starting to sound like my father. When we were going to leave, when I was going to come back to Kampala, we normally have like a family meeting, gathering, we pray together. But the conversation drifted for some minutes. When we said, let's now share testimonies and how there has been and where we are looking forward to. Oh my God. My brother and my father, looks like they said, okay, this man has asked for it. Let's serve it all to him. But it was good. I took a holiday of about, I think 2 to 3 weeks from around 22nd of December. Which I got to move to about 3 places. I went to Kabale, visited a family, friends of mine, traveled to Chisoro, spent some time with my boys there.
Wow, yeah.
It was Christmas.
I love
then connected to Kanungu, which is my home place, and spent time with family. Then I came back to Kampala. Back to the hustle.
Back to the hustle.
Yes.
Like
and I'm so happy.
Like the talk of nowadays.
Yeah. So happy to be back. We're always here to share wisdom, to share lessons from life, but also skills that we've gained through training about how we can live improved quality lives that are meaningful, that are impactful in the community, and wherever God has placed us, to make sure we make a contribution that's worthwhile to, even when you're working, to know that you're not just working to earn a living, but you have a mandate to make a difference in the community where we are. And that's why I think Back to Basics breaks down that. I'm so happy to be back, and Happy New Year to my friends and family out there who are always viewing and following. I send you greetings because I've come to appreciate that. People will see me personally and say, we normally watch the show and we're happy. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Almost like, tell me your name, I greet you when I'm on TV.
Yes.
But yeah,
that's
so
very important, Martin, and we really do appreciate. You spoke of the journeys you made and the areas you visited, and then you said, coming back to the hustle.
Yes.
Now talking about the hustle and the resolutions that we make or people make out there from 2023. I know a lot has been kind of going on and people talking about what was achieved, what didn't achieve, creating kind of confusion even in the mind. And sometimes you don't know, you set these resolutions and to you it seemed that they are clear. They are clear for you to kind of attain, and it's as if you attain them the next month. But then the 12 months pass and nothing has been attained. So you're there in the middle of should I now do the same resolution? Should I relook at this?
Should I just
look
to God?
Look? And now there's something I read. It was just a TikTok, I think, joke. Someone said, it's already 3 weeks past. How far have you gone with the resolutions? You only have 11 months left. So there's that anxiety, there's that kind of curiosity and anxiety that is created. Because if someone says now, you only have 11 months, how far have you gone with the resolution? And that's why it's important sometimes to have such discussions now. Exactly. We look at what happens in the mind, what happens in the mind, what is that confusion, what is the mind telling us, especially when we are still looking at our resolutions and how we can achieve personal growth. So this introduces us to our topic this evening of the battles of the mind versus personal growth. And I just want to start appreciating a quote by the Joan of Arc, it was a French heroine, who said that the battles or a battle is either lost or won first in the mind. I think that's a very, very fundamental.
The famous appeal likes to quote, it says, in the mind is where the battle is won and lost.
So it's a very fundamental statement. And I think we need now to validate it as we discuss the battles of the mind versus personal growth. But I just don't always want to assume, Martin,
everybody knows.
Yes, the battle, because for me, And someone out there, when you mention the battle, someone might now jump to Israel and Hamas, then Houthis and the USA and Ukraine and Russia, the physical fighting.
Yeah.
Another one might even think the spiritual battles and in the realm. Like we need to kind of break it down in the context of how we want it. So we are here with you, so we won't suffer much.
Thank you. No, I'll just begin by giving it probably a stage. You know the famous end of year crossover nights. So where people gather and they're praying and shandering and all, which is okay to pray through the night to enter the new year. But then also there's this thing attached to it, like probably people write a list of things, put them in an envelope or something, also attach money, and then pray, and as though you know, when you do that and the things are going to all happen, it is good to pray about the things you think about. And so that gives like stage to what we're going to talk about. Then tomorrow is 2024, first day in 2024. And you know that actually it takes more than just pray. It takes more than just having them written and putting them somewhere and looking at them every day. There's more that needs to be done for these things to be able to come to pass. And of course, while we do all that, I want to put a framework to it also, that there is a sovereign hand of God, that some things may work out, some things may not work out. But it is not wrong to make resolutions, it's not wrong to make plans, it's not wrong to set goals, it's not wrong to plan how you're going to live your life, the things you look forward to doing. And I believe and hope really many people normally have that culture of writing resolutions. I would love to do this, I would love to do this. Now, what happens between January and December is a black box. It gets to media and, you are still struggling with the first one. Even the first one, probably if you put like one of them is to really know God and love Him and know Him more or spread the word, you realize that actually you're doing that from January to December and you've not even done it as well as you would have loved to. But we also have other things about personal growth that we look to doing in career, at our workplaces, at our in life, generally, because change is a fact of life. But then we realize that actually change is a fact, but then growth is a personal choice. Things will continue to change, but yourself, you may not be changing. Doing a lot doesn't mean you're having a lot done, So we are using that as the background to start now to talk about the battles of the mind. So when we talk about the battles of the mind, we're saying you have all these good dreams, you have all these good ideas, you have all these beautiful plans and goals you've set out. I think the most common sessions that we've been having here and probably out there in the mental health setting, people will be setting goals, maybe even coaches and trainers in companies, and we'll be talking about setting goals. It's a good thing to set goals, but then there's more to just setting goals. How do we get those goals achieved? A dreamer is a good person. The categories of people, and I'll break it this way for today, that there is a person who we call a dreamer. A dreamer has beautiful ideas, has good dreams, has, all these nice things. But sometimes all they do is dream. They never get to do. They take long to put them in practice. They are carried out by anxiety, delays, and many things that we shall talk about, and they actually never get to do. So when we talk about the battles of the mind, we are saying the battle, I recall the Dr. Gray's book, The Invisible War, which talks about the battle of the mind. The Bible talks about the mind as troubled, as the things that I want to do, I don't do. When I want to ponder, my mind wanders. So there's a lot that happens in the mind, that actually the things you plan in your mind to do are not the things that you do. So it's a battle of what you are having and then affecting what you are having. So that is the battle, the competing priorities, the competing thoughts of what you think and then what you want to do and then what you actually get to do. So that is it is invisible, but actually it is the decisions, the competing choices, you know, up there.
That you have in your mind. Would it be like something like, just to try and look at a simple example? You want to go to Kampala town, for example, and then something else is saying, don't go. Can that be kind of, I shouldn't go?
Yeah, should I go, should I not go?
Yes.
And you may end up actually not going where you wanted to go, where you had a plan, and you end up going to a place where you don't actually have a plan. So that's the battle of the mind, and then informing the choices that we make, because along with it comes with how we shall feel about it, and then what will be required of us when we take that route of that particular dream or whatever. So you find a dreamer, if they do one and it's they get to achieve it, they're encouraged to do more. But if they get a hiccup on one of the dreams they think about, and that frustrates all of their life, and then, you know, they spread with anxiety and distress, and then it all ends up in misery all around, and they don't get to actually do anything. So that's the battle
of
the mind.
Of the mind.
Yes, the invisible war that we struggle with every day, the choices that we want to make, the decisions that we are trying to make, and it's not without consequences. When we go the right way, then we have good that turns around.
When you win that battle.
Yes. When we go the wrong way, then there are also
then you lose the battle, and there are consequences. We'll definitely look at those consequences.
So that then versus personal growth. Now, personal growth, personal, of course, means something that is really so that concerns you as an individual, and the evolving you, the changes that happen. It could be physical, it could be psychological, it could be emotional, but also could be, you know, transformation, which is holistic, you know, in terms of knowledge, in terms of wisdom, in terms of abilities, in terms of skills. So that is the growth, besides the physical development and these other things. And that, in a sense, informs the decisions we make, the choices we make, and where those put us, the actions we take, the behaviors we involve in, and all those inform where we get or where we don't get. And so personal growth, in a sense, when you talk about the battles of the mind versus personal growth, it's like these two things are in a sense linked, and therefore also linked to the goals and the dreams we have and we set. So all of these are interlinked. The dreams we have, it's a battle of the mind, you know, to choose the ones we shall follow, and then take them to the logical conclusion. And those will inform our growth and the changes that we experience in life. Like I said, change is a fact of life, but then personal growth is a choice.
It's a choice.
So, yeah.
So basing on that statement, things like age, you know, whether you've done anything or whether you've done something or you haven't done anything, from 2023, if you were 30, in 2024 you were 31.
31.
Can we term that as personal growth?
That is growing in age, but you may not you may not be growing in knowledge. You may not be growing in knowledge and understanding and discovering things, and you know, and yeah, when we talked about the battle of the mind, also is one thing I would like to put in there is that relating to like mental health is that you don't believe everything you think, okay? Because actually that's how people get delusions. When people have taken drugs, or even when they have been hyped by maybe a pastoral movement or something, and that they're being pushed to confess it or claim it or something, it doesn't make it true. Just because you think it doesn't make it true. You can think all you want about it, you can do all you want about it, but you know, and the thing of saying whatever you think you can achieve, whatever you believe you can achieve, it's not necessarily really the true, but it has some sense to it. But then the true sense of all of it is that, you know, we also know that the ultimate control of what happens or doesn't happen is in the hands of God.
It's the hands of God.
Yeah.
So this validates your statement that personal growth is actually out of choice, personal choice.
Yes, yes.
Because age,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just
it's out of our control. Yes.
They'll just be growing physically, yeah, and bring gray hair. And when you talk about that, really, sorry to put it that way, but you must have seen, and this is what we struggle with, maybe with mental illness, especially the behavioral disorders, like alcohol use or substance use disorders, that when someone has taken and then they have affected them, you'll find a man who is even in 50s, but then because of the influence of the drug, their reasoning is like for a P7 P7 chap,
or even lower.
At that moment, when they're under the influence,
yes, or even
until
lower.
when they're rehabilitated and their right thinking comes back, because their thinking is compromised by the influence of the drug on their brain, or the influence of the drug on their mind, so they don't think right. So that's why when you mention that, there are circumstances we can put to it that validate it, that, you know, age does not necessarily mean that, you know, someone has gone personally in all these other spheres of life, you know.
Yes, thank you, Martin. I want to bring in society, and I believe some of the things that bring confusion in the mind and actually contribute to the battles of the mind is perception from the society vis-a-vis personal growth. If we are measuring and trying to measure our own personal growth, you'll find some people struggle to actually measure growth according to their set objectives or set dimensions, but instead want to relate it to what society perceives as growth. For example, I may set my own and say, I need to maybe study a certificate, but the society values someone who has done maybe a degree or more to have achieved more than me. How do you comment on that? And also, how do you advise people who struggle with that kind of battle in the mind of wanting to work according to what society perceives as growth vis-a-vis what I have sought, what I have set as my personal growth? Yes, Martin, let's start from there after the break, but just to remind everyone that we are discussing a very fundamental topic, which is battles of the mind versus personal growth. And there is quite a lot that happens in our minds, and it's invisible, as Martin has put it. We are trying to dig deep and find out what are those battles, what brings them, and later we shall definitely look at how can we find a middle line, a middle point. But for now, let's take a break. Welcome back from that short break. This is Back to Basics, live on Bethany TV for Health. We are discussing the battles of the mind versus personal growth. And in the studio, I have Amanya Martin Mwalimu.
Yes, sir. You know, the Mwalimu thing is amazing. I love it because once a Mwalimu, always a Mwalimu. So you asked a question when we went for the break.
Yes, I did. It's just maybe to repeat it. It was trying to dig deep into what happens in the mind. And one we can use as reference maybe to summarize on that, and we look at other things. One thing that happens, and I think to me, to someone there watching, it has maybe either happened to you or you see it happening, is the society. The influence of the society vis-a-vis our personal set objectives and goals. For me, personally, I would know I have achieved, but the society does not perceive it, because maybe they are comparing me with someone of my age, of my profession, you're coming from the same community, and they kind of compare. So for you, what you perceive as personal
success,
growth,
as achievement.
as achievement.
Some other
and
person
there's
they look at
society.
it like peanuts. And,
Exactly.
and of
I
course
may be happy with the Toyota Carina.
Let me tell you, there are people actually
but someone
who,
wants me to have a V8.
Yeah, there are people actually who, and it's interesting in social media, I think we're getting all sorts of mixed information, some of which that could be misleading. That, you know, someone says that, you know, you can't be happy and contented and you must have a certain level of amount of money maybe. But you know, like the way God created us, we can't be the same. Even the fingers themselves, like we can't be the same. All of us can't be Sudhir, all of us can't be. But actually, God has made it possible that to each has given much, and in that sense that is enough to keep them, and they are grateful. Actually says, the scripture says that, you know, if you have food and clothing, you know, you should be grateful. That should be enough. But you know, people make it out there feel like this is they have defined what success is, what someone is supposed to have for me. But you know, actually, success is the definition is relative, and it varies from one person to the other. Achievements varies from one person to the other. However small it is an achievement. So if you have a degree and you think someone who's just finished P7, they have not achieved, they have achieved.
They have achieved the
to them at that level, actually, that's the biggest. There's a time also when you finish P7 and you are we normally use the word, you are the handy guy on the village.
When we finished PRE, we raised the collar.
Exactly, but the cycle continues to get into senior one and you are like, yo, you are the fresher now.
Hey, you are a fresher.
And meanwhile, you hit
senior
form 4
are
and
like,
you are the, and then you got form 6, then you come to campus, equalizer. And then now you reach a time actually where now you stop to, you know, start comparing yourself to others. But rather actually, there are things, like lessons, there are inspirations.
Yes.
But not a thing of comparison. Actually, I normally say comparison kills. It kills actually creativity. People end up competing with the same things. And not being able to do what?
Or taking directions which is not in line with their passion.
Exactly.
Because Martin is a mwalimu.
Yeah. So everybody, maybe someone thinks they will just jump on that tomorrow and do it. They don't know you've been working on these things for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And so it has come where it is, and you know, they could also do the same thing, but it needs some time. So societal pressures, I think, can affect people's plans and aspirations and maybe resolutions they're working towards if they don't focus on themselves and what they're doing and what it means for them, and they keep on focusing on what everybody else is doing. But also that could be where we bring in the mental illness problem, because maybe you think you're only validated if people approve what you're doing, but yet actually right remains right even if nobody was doing it, but wrong remains wrong even if everybody was doing it. Will I just go hunting down money and get the money in any way? No. If my path is to grow, I need to go the right channels. And you do not know the person you're admiring or want to get to where they are in the next 1 year, or you don't know how they're getting what they're getting. So would you pause and reflect on life and focus and, you know, just do the right thing you're meant to be doing and keep your faith alive and alert, and then, you know, have people around you who are supportive, who help you to see the world the way you're meant to see it, you know, not as you want it, because it can't be as you want it. There is someone who's in charge.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yep. That's true. Thank you very much for that. It's a very important kind of thing that almost happens on different stages and to different people. So it's good you've at least hinted a very good insight.
Yeah, Moses. So if you don't put a caveat to that, we end up having all sorts of beliefs and thoughts and delusions of people thinking, you know, you can be anything you want, anywhere, anyhow, anytime. And that life of saying, you know, there are no limits, there are no boundaries. Whatever you think you believe you can achieve it. And then, you know, actually people have ended up doing reckless things. And at the end of it, they regret what they thought was success and achievement. Actually, it's going down the drain. It's not a life they desire to live. Yet actually, you know, we need to get
manage
back
your,
to basics.
your personal
Exactly.
success and
Exactly.
dimensions.
Yeah.
But also appreciating what you've said, that sometimes that pressure can be an inspiration to achieve, to work hard.
Yes.
That also should be
noted. That if it's well used,
it
can help you to get where you want to get.
Perfect. Let's continue to dissect the battles of the mind. And we look at, you mentioned about different categories of people in relation to action, reaction, and planning, and achieving, and doing things. So let's just take us through. And
so there is research shows that people have clustered groups of people and in their different working environments to be operating in three facets. They call some doers, they call some thinkers, and they call some dreamers. So they say it is said that dreamers are the people who dream. They have beautiful ideas, they have good dreams, they have imaginations. Actually, when you think of children, children actually rely on dreams, and it's what occupies their imagination, and they put that to the environment in which they live, and then they start making sense out of the world around them. But so much about dreams, and so even through adulthood, people go on to dream. But then the thing with dreaming is that people always want, they love it that way because dreaming is easy. You can dream when you're seated, you can dream when you are lying and relaxing, you can dream when you're standing and walking. Now, anyone can dream anything, anytime, in the night, in the day. They imagine that they have beautiful, super nice visions, and all those are there. And so they need to work to achieve those. But the challenge is that sometimes the people who dream, they end on dreaming. Those who end on dreaming, they don't get to put into action their dreams, and that's where now the challenge is that they do not want to get into investing in energy. They don't want to make attempts. They want to only enjoy the dreaming, but you cannot stop at the dreaming. So we have also now doers, people who, they're action oriented. For them, they want to do, they want things that are structured, they want to know the work, they want to set timeline to it, they want to do it, they want to be productive, those are the doers. For them, it is about activity. For them, it is about production. For them, it's about, getting into the hard and the rough and the tough and tussling it out. And such make good leaders that are magnetic, that, attract people around them because they're fixers, they're solution oriented. They always look to, they're not so much looking to the benefits, but they are interested in the process, and they will carry on. Even when they meet failures, they will still be challenged to move forward. Now, the group of thinkers, which I will later maybe cluster with the dreamers. The thinkers are those guys who are exposed to knowledge. You must have known people make think tanks and a group of thinkers who are exposed to knowledge, and they use that knowledge, put scientific rules, and adapt that to their journey. And they use that to manipulate whatever restraints or benefits that come with various situations to still achieve what their target is. So they're always looking for opportunities. They analyze situations, and then they work through them to deliver well. So those are thinkers. Thinkers are good. They analyze situations, and then they get to give a right perspective to it, and then someone can use that to work. So to have a good combination, you need doers and thinkers. You need dreamers, and then thinkers in between there, then doers. So the dreamers dream, and the thinkers analyze, and then the doers take it down. So that's how it has been put. So we'll be looking at maybe the battles of the mind versus personal growth, how the different categories of people now how they grow or how they do not grow. And I think we shall cluster them into maybe doers and those who are dreamers.
The doers, then thinkers, and
dreamers.
And dreamers. Before we get to that, do we find a situation where one person has multiple facets, and maybe the person is a dreamer, a thinker, and a doer, or it's kind of, you must be one of those?
So people definitely have each of those facets in a sense. But to find someone who's good at all those, then it's really amazing that someone is able to apply appropriately each facet in the line of when that need arises. But many a times in the working environments, you find we are spread into the three facets. You find a group of guys who are thinkers, who love to analyze issues, who will sleep over it, will do research, and then you find guys who are doers, who take risks, who when they think about something to do, they plan and schedule it and put a deadline to it, and they start even before the day they plan to do it, to start that, and you won't stop them. They will fail, but they won't stop. They're fixers. They want to keep going and keep going. They don't lose interest. Actually, rather for them, it is that appeals to actually their curiosity and creativity. They're curious. They don't lose interest. They rather want to find out more. If it's not working,
go on and go on.
Yes, they want to go on and go on. And then you find guys who are we talked about dreamers, guys who have the beautiful vision, and the thinkers who have those skills of analyzing situations and then giving
the implementation,
and then the guys who do, who are action oriented,
the implementers. So how do we?
And then to have a beautiful team. Normally, organizations who
must have a blend
those, put together those, they make a beautiful team.
You can make a beautiful team.
Have that,
yes. Let's try now to relate those characters, if I might say, to personal growth. How does a personal growth reflect
how is it influenced
to the category of each of those facets that we've mentioned? For example, the dreamers. How does their personal growth look like?
Okay. So dreamers now, I'm sorry we're going to be talking about these words, and some of people out there will be ruling out and saying, I think this is me. We're going to look at these two, maybe these differences are what we shall talk about, and then we see what to do later. So we're going to discuss like a bit of differences between the dreamers and the doers. So we shall say the dreamers are people who dream and only dream. We shall say the doers are people who take action, and we shall tell the differences, and these are the differences. Dreamers talk, doers do.
I need a nice job or a highly paying job.
Yes. Or they dream what kind of job that should be.
And you dream about all those, the benefits that come around.
Yes, they tell everybody about that. And,
and that's so that one is a dreamer.
Yes, if Moses presents an opportunity and says, there's a little messenger office work here, you can start with this, and they're lazy to write an application. First of all, they feel that may be too cheap. They don't take action. The dreamers dream, but the people who are doers, they get in there. They're always moved by starting on something and getting it done. But the dreamers will just want that comfortable place of dream, and that one is anyone can dream.
But does that mean the doer is not kind of
the dreamer?
The dreamer, sorry, not the doer. Does that mean that the doer does not do the planning, the pre stages of planning, looking at what is needed, looking at different ideas and comparing them, and then maybe choosing one and implement it, or for them, whatever comes, they start and do it?
So, in a sense, the person has a component of all these three, because it's not like they learn from anywhere and do anything. So when we talk about dreamers and doers, dreamers are the ones who end only on dreaming. The doers are the ones who dream and also do. That's the way to connect it. So the others we can call them the dreamers and doers, and we can call these ones dreamers because all they do is dream.
It's dream.
And you can cluster that with thinking, because people dreamers speculate. They will analyze the situation and until they get paralysis of analysis. They're planning, they're analyzing and whatever. That planning is good. But
Someone
experimenting is better.
Someone said too much of it.
Yeah.
You end up not
Experimenting
doing
is
anything.
better. You cannot know whether something will work or not until you actually do it. And you get to know what works and what
You want to
doesn't
buy a
work.
phone, but you research, you look at the storage, you look at the speed, then you read about it,
Yes.
the history, you look at issues that's associated with that phone, like over a period of years, and then at the end you end up saying, no, that's not a nice phone.
Yeah, there are people who have written resolutions now, but now we should have started on working on whatever we wrote down. Or
Like I
we were
said,
planning to.
already 1 month is almost gone, so we have 11 months.
If you talked about getting a job, you should be writing an application. You should have maybe walked to offices or followed up a friend or written, been looking up opportunities or whatever. But someone will have put that as a resolution, and all they're doing is watching TV and spending time at home. And because there's provision at home, mommy and daddy there, the other siblings are on holiday, you eat, but you've finished university, but also maybe you are in Form 6 vacation, you can find a volunteer opportunity somewhere, maybe your parents also can help you, but you need to be proactive. So, dreamers, stop with fear. Dreamers fear, but doers, for them, they work with fear. For anything new to start, definitely there'll be things to fear. But if you keep on fearing, you never start anything. The only way to learn to swim is by swimming.
By swimming.
The only way to start is to start. You get, there's an analogy that he said of a young man who was going to the competition to marry the daughter of the king, and they said the one who was going to do that was to be thrown in the pool. They didn't know, and would swim across with, yet there was a crocodile. And so as we are talking, one of the young men was thrown in there, but he swam himself to death and got himself out. Now, it wasn't a good experience. So what they were asking him, how did you do that? Who do you want us to... Please, one thing to say to the people who are gathered here, that you came prepared for this. How long did you rehearse? They asked, just one thing you want to say. They put a microphone on his mouth. He said, just show me the guy who pushed me. It's funny, but literally that analogy is used to mean that you may not be ready for something, but you get in there.
And
without faith, it's impossible to please God. Faith without action is dead. Get in there and do something, whether you feel like it or not. With faith, their feelings will come up next.
That's true.
Yeah. So that is.
Someone said when a man faces a lion, they are all praying.
You never
God.
know that you are a good runner until you have found yourself in a situation where you have no friend.
And both are praying to God. The lion is also praying to get
have
a meal.
breakfast.
And you're also praying
for safety.
For safety. So what kind of separates the two of you is the initiative one puts in. If you maybe run, and then God helps you from there, as maybe you climb a tree. So you can't just keep there standing. You must put in your personal initiative.
And that is what actually dreamers do. They postpone. For them, they plan very many things, but they keep on saying when anything that seems, they actually plan the possibility to do something that may happen in future. So they are always planning, what if this happens, and so they keep on postponing, delaying, and blaming the environment. And for the doers, they get started. If anything happens along the way, they fix it. And they fix, and they continue fixing. They don't postpone and say, there are no these resources, there are no these... there are many things that we could have started, but they say bad farmer blames his tools. We're always saying, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, but actually there is a lot that you already have that you can use to start, that God has given you, from the personal abilities, from the skills, from training, from the family that is around you, if it be a fellowship community or church community or your family and friends, and there are people around you. There are things that you have there. We are different, but you just need actually to look out, be on the lookout, and put yourself out there, look for what you need, and then that's how someone will see you and help you. Look, if you go and take a volunteer opportunity at an organization, and they're seeing what you're doing, over time, if there's a need for replacement of a staff who's left for studies or has been terminated or anything, or if there is promoted and then the vacancy is there, then they give you. But now you just hang around just the streets, going to clubs or staying at home and watching TV and series, and you think a job. First of all, there's a generation that believes like you just land immediately, good job that is earning these millions of money, and you think it's going to locate you somewhere. Maybe your pastor told you that nobody will take it. No, if you don't go and apply, it's not going to, So that is it. Dreamers lose interest, but doers are moved by curiosity. They don't just lose interest. But dreamers will hop from one dream to another. If this one tries this and it seems like they move from... But the other guys stick, actually, if something is seeming not to work, they're curious now to learn. How shall we make it work? How shall we make it work? They don't stop at failure. They keep on trying. They keep on doing. They keep on doing. They look for new ways to do the thing. So those are the kinds of differences. Yeah. You have to be doing. You can't just stop at dreaming. Everybody can dream, but not everybody can do. You have to make an attempt. You have to put in energy. You have to put in sacrifices. You have to put in an effort. That is what brings results. That's what brings personal growth. That's why we say change is a fact of life, but then personal growth is a choice. That's the difference. That's where now the battle lies. What happens here now, transferring it to hands. If we only puff ourselves with knowledge, and we are thinking and dreaming with our beautiful visions, we just end up with just big heads and small hands and small feet. Maybe even in the church setting, where we are taught a lot, and we are not even applying what we are learning. Maybe it is time we apply what we are learning.
What you are learning.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mwalimu, and really appreciating the differences that we have, unique differences, dreamers, thinkers, and doers, and that's God's design, and I think that uniqueness also brings something unique, and it's very good to appreciate it. And I know in there you've mentioned on how we can try to manage some of these battles basing on the differences between different categories. But as we try to bring this discussion to the end, what are the highlights on how we can manage some of these battles to kind of neutralize? For example, if you're largely a dreamer, someone out there might be thinking and reflecting on what he or she has been going through and the plans he or she has been having, and definitely wants to conclude and says, maybe I'm a dreamer. So where is the ray of light? How do we manage some of those to kind of neutralize and they do not only stop on dreaming, but at least make that step and break the fears? In just a minute, as we conclude our show.
So I'll say that dreamers are always caught in this place of worry, of fear of the unknown. But we can never know. It's only God who is omniscient. We take risks and we trust God. So faithfully, with faith we make stands. We do. And we believe that God will bless the works of our hands. So I would say that, dreamers are caught in this place of always saying, what if? What if? They worry about everything, and they say, what if not? That concern about the unknown, what if it doesn't happen? How do you know something doesn't work if you have not started it? It is when you start it that you know that this is what works and this is what doesn't work, and then you can make the changes for the better. But the main thing is to get started. The
Get
main
started.
thing is to do something, to move from dreaming to doing. And then maybe also to say that thinkers need to do more and doers need to think more.
Wow, thank you very much. Mwalimu, 10 years of teaching Kiswahili and training, and it's very, very important. 10 years, that's a very good period. I expect maybe a party at celebrate.
We will be,
it's a milestone. It is a milestone. So thank you very much, Mwalimu. Thank you for your time and knowledge sharing and everything that you do to make this show very relevant to the community. Thank you very much. And to the listeners and the viewers on different platforms, wherever you are, those who are watching live, thank you very much. We really do appreciate. And we always stream on our YouTube channel. Do not forget, always subscribe. And also hit the notification button. This will make sure that every program that happens on Bethan TV for Health, you will get that notification, and therefore you will not miss anything. This is Back to Basics and Bethan TV for Health. Have a good night. See you next time.